Hello BookTube, my name is Sarah and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about some of my favorite mystery books from my childhood. And this is, of course, my Friday March Mystery Madness video. March Mystery Madness is a great BookTube event that is going on all month long. And in the description box below, I will leave links to all the other hosts for this wonderful read-along. So, you know, those of us who are hosting decided to do like separate little videos throughout the month, you know, special mystery related videos. And I had this idea to kind of talk to you guys about the mystery books that I read when I was little. Now, a lot of them might be the same that some of you may have read, but some of them may be new to you. So that's why I thought I'd mention them. And I know also that March is middle grade March, I think it is. Now, I don't think any of these really qualify as middle grade. They were more YA. Well, one of them might be more middle grade than YA, but still, I will show you guys what I used to read. So I've got no notes for this video. I literally have a stack of books here in my hand to talk to you guys about. So I'm going to go completely off the cuff with this one. So let's jump in. So Nancy Drew. I think we all read Nancy Drew when we were growing up. And I think a lot of you are familiar with these Nancy Drew books. The hardcover with the yellow. My mother read through all of these when she was a little girl. Her sister read through them all. Oh, wherever I purchased this book from, someone's got their phone number in here. That's lovely. No joke, guys. Phone numbers written inside this book. Wow. If found, please call. Interesting. So anyway, that's besides the point. But I think we are all absolutely familiar with these Nancy Drew books. And like I said, my mother read them. This one was published in 1932. So that's a long time ago. My dad was born in 49. So, you know, these books have been around for a while. Now, I did read through these ones, but these were not my Nancy Drew. I was born in 79, so I was a child in the 80s. And these, I mean, I would take them out of the library, but these weren't my Nancy Drew. The Nancy Drew that I grew up with, and the ones that are not talked about very often, were the Nancy Drew case files. Sorry, I'm just putting that down there. These ones. These were published in the 80s, and I loved these. I read every single one more than once. I would go to the library. We used to go to the library like every week when I was a kid, and I would take these out. And, you know, my mother would be like, you read that one, like, you know, a couple months ago. I'll be like, but I want to read it again. And I would read through them so many times. I've slowly been picking them up when I see them at thrift stores and things like that. They are a little pricey to get online. You can get the entire series on the Kindle. But the books are, I think, $6 a piece on the Kindle, for the Kindle edition. So, you know, we'll see. I might end up, you know, every now and then picking one up if I want to. But, yeah, these were fantastic and so 1980s. I mean, come on, look at those covers. Look at her hair. I actually quite like her bathing suit. It's super cute. But, I mean, like, look at his. That is just all kinds of awesome, isn't it? So, these ones, Nancy is, she's graduated from high school. I think she's 1 year out of high school. And, like, for example, this one was published in 86. You know, in the first book, I think she ends up going back to high school and posing as a student. And, you know, trying to catch somebody who's, you know, I think vandalizing or something like that. I found the cases, unlike these ones, excuse me, these ones seem to be relatively tame. I mean, they were published in the 30s and 40s and what have you. So, you know, it was like the will is missing, or, you know, there's a mystery behind the stairs, or somebody's gone missing. These ones tended to deal with people actually getting shot at, you know, high-speed car chases, you know, kidnappings, like stuff that took it up another level. Do you know what I mean? But still really, really good. You know, this one is struck by a hit-and-run driver, and it wasn't an accident. So, you know, I love these. Absolutely love them, and I gobble them up. Now, even more than me loving these, I loved these. And these are the Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys case files. So, again, published, excuse me again for reaching, around the same time as these. Now, when these ones were out for Nancy Drew, they re-released a new, not re-released, but released a new series of Hardy Boys called the Hardy Boys case files. So these are like a crossover between the Nancy Drew case files and the Hardy Boys case files. And for some reason, I never read the Hardy, I may have picked up one or two Hardy Boys, but I can't remember. but I loved these. I love the inclusion of Frank and Joe. You know, these were absolutely fantastic. I think they released a total of like 15 of these. And again, I read them all. These two were my absolute favorites. This one is A Crime for Christmas. I read it 2 years ago on Christmas, not the Christmas that just passed, but the Christmas before that. And they're in New York City, and it's diamond thieves or something like that. And it was just so, so good. This one, I believe, was a cruise ship, and it's called Double Crossing. I mean, just look at the outfits. I mean, these are fabulous. If you can find these in any store, they are absolutely worth the read, no joke. These were published, this one was published in '88, and this one was published in, bear with, also in 1988. So I believe this is actually the first one, is Double Crossing. They are not numbered or anything like that. Not like, you know, the case files, it says right there on the top, case number 5. These are not labeled, numbered, I should say, but they're still a lot of fun. And if you can find them, definitely for nostalgic factor. If you're also a child of the 80s, you might enjoy these. The other ones I want to talk about really quickly are not true mystery series like the way Nancy Drew was. These are main series that I used to read that had like a mystery spin-off, if you will. So the first one, of course, is Sweet Valley High. Now, I don't know if a lot of you remember this who used to read Sweet Valley High, but they used to have the super thrillers. These were fantastic. I mean, they were so, they were cheesy. I mean, all of Sweet Valley High. Sweet Valley High was cheese to the max, and I loved it. I absolutely love these. I actually have, can I take it down without, when this was released, sorry, little bear. When this was released, I immediately went out and bought it, and you guys can go ahead and judge me. Sweet Valley Confidential, and I read it in about 2 days. It was okay. I didn't dislike it. As a fan of Sweet Valley High, I had to read it just for nostalgic factor. But yeah, I was a huge fan of the Sweet Valley High and the Sweet Valley Twins series. I read all of them, but these ones were really, really fun. And this one is, what is this one? Somebody's being threatened by an anonymous caller. Either give up their search and leave Barbara in deadly trouble, or save Barbara's life and risk their lives and Nicholas's. I mean, like, I remember reading, oh, there's some great blogs and stuff online for Sweet Valley High. There's one, and I can't remember what it's called, but if I can find it, I will link it in the description box below. And this woman, no, it was a book. She put out a book, and she literally read through the entire Sweet Valley High series and just made random comments about the whole thing, and it's fantastic. But, I mean, it's come up so many times saying, why would you ever want to live in this town? Because bad things seem to happen all the time. Later on, they started to bring out different books as the series dragged on. These are some of the originals. I think the first book in the series, not these ones in particular, but Sweet Valley High, the first book came out in '82, I think. So these ones couldn't have been much long after that. 19, you guys gonna give me a date here? 88. So this was another one that was published in '88. But later on, like when the series got into the 90s, like the 1990s, they brought out more horror, more supernatural, like werewolves and vampires and stuff like that. Those ones I didn't care for quite as much, but these ones that were the more mystery aspect, there's another one, I think the first one where Elizabeth spends the summer working on the local newspaper and something happens or whatever. I mean, really, really fun. If you read this series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed these. And the last one, I could not talk about books from my childhood without bringing up the Babysitter's Club. And these are the Babysitter's Club's mystery books. This is number 1. Throughout the run of the series, like before these books came out, the Babysitter's Club often would do mystery books. Marianne and the Search for Tigger, you know, where Marianne's cat goes missing. It's a mystery. Stacy and the Haunted House, I think, was one of them. But then, you know, I guess they realized that fans really liked these, and then they started bringing these out. And I think a new one came out like every 2 or 3 months. So I think these got up to almost book 30. They even put out a mystery board game for nostalgic sake. Does anybody else remember the Babysitter's Club board games? I had both of them. Oh, and I had the Sweet Valley High board game too, because I was just that cool. But yeah, they had the mystery board game and the regular board game. And these are super duper fun. You know, this one is Stacy and the Missing Ring. And, you know, essentially what it is that Stacy's babysitting and one of the clients' rings goes missing, and it's a very expensive piece of jewelry. And of course she blames Stacy because Stacy was the last one there. And, you know, even the club kind of turns on her because they think that she may have taken it. Well, then they decide to kind of look for it. You know, these were very, very, much like I was saying about these Nancy Drew books, they were really, really tame in comparison. You know, like A Missing Ring. You know, what other ones? Is there a list in here? I'm not sure if there's a list in here. I cannot remember. Stacy and the Missing Ring. I'm trying to remember. There was one about, you know, robberies at the mall, somebody stealing from the mall, you know, stuff like that, you know, a missing child, you know, relatively tame. Nobody really got hurt. They were all in fun, and they even released, I think it was 2 or 3 super mysteries. For those of you not familiar with the Babysitters Club series, they had the regular books, and each book in the Babysitters Club series has a babysitter's name, like Stacy and the Missing Ring. You know, the first book is Christy's Great Idea, Claudia and the Phantom Phone Calls. So the babysitter's name that's in the title is the babysitter that actually narrates the story. The super mystery, or the super specials and super mysteries, they were narrated by all the characters. So every chapter you would get like the character's name at the top of the chapter, and they would narrate that chapter. So they're larger mysteries. One takes place, I think it's Shadow Lake over the summer, where there's a mystery at the Shadow Lake, like where they go camping. There's one that takes place over the holidays. They were really, really fun. And, you know, these might be even considered to be a bit more middle grade because they are a bit younger than, of course, the Sweet Valley or even the Nancy Drew ones that I mentioned. But they're still a lot of fun, and I absolutely recommend them if you can hunt them out. So anyway, guys, that is it. Please let me know in the comments below what mystery books you read in your childhood, or if you've read any of these. Let's wax nostalgic together. I just love the fact that I can pick these up, especially online, that, you know, the internet is so amazing now that, you know, things that I would have had to have gone and hunted out bookstores and gone all over the place to find these, I can now literally look online and have them at my fingertips. And either, like in the case of these, as I was saying, read them on the Kindle, or even these ones, because these are all available on Kindle as well, as are all of these. The only ones that are not, and I'm so disappointed, are these are not available on Kindle, and neither are the special editions, or the super editions or super thrillers are not available on on Amazon either, in digital format, I should say. But yeah, so anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Thanks and happy reading, everybody. Bye.